In a previous post, I told the story of the Cedar Point and Lake Erie Railroad and how it was originally owned by George Roos. Shortly before I hired on for the 1967 season, Roos sold it to an old friend and business associate from Cleveland, Art Modell. Modell also owned the Cleveland Browns football team. Since CP&LE employees did not work for the park but for the CP&LE owner, our paychecks that summer came from the office of the Cleveland Browns. Should have kept one of those pay stubs. I remember the CP&LE as a curved dog bone sort of layout as I have sketched it here, but this may not be totally accurate. It ran pretty much through an undeveloped cedar grove laced with a waterway that had been dredged out in 1904. In any event, once we got beyond the yard limit, we could hear the train on the opposite side of the loop, but we couldn't see it because of the thick foliage. There were some animated scenes and glimpses of the riverboats out on the waterway, but otherwise you really thought you were out in the wilderness. The first expansion into that end of the point came in 1967 with the opening of Frontier Town, and the first ride out there was Shoot the Rapids. I think the train was the only way to get there that year. Anyway, Shoot the Rapids was the only reason to get off out there. Typical two-train operation had each train departing from opposite ends at about the same time, so there wasn't much chance of accidental encounters. But 3 train days had one train leaving each station and one somewhere in between, coming or going. Since we couldn't see each other, we whistled a lot on those days, just to make sure we knew where everyone was. Well, that was the excuse. There were no train brakes then, don't know how it is now. All the 040s had steam jams, I believe, but we had to depend on the Johnson bar to stop Modell and Albert. We got real good at spotting for the water tank at Midway. Notice the stone marker just below Albert's cab window. Another thing, Cedar Point is more sand than soil, and a good blow coming in off the lake could bring a tree down without much trouble. Thus, the route was inspected every morning before the first train went out. But one morning, George took Albert out on the first train, and before he got to Frontier Town, he hit a tree that came down after the inspection trip. Fortunately, he didn't hit it very hard, just bent the headlamp. Okay, let's talk more trains.
On the